Le Cordon Bleu College of Culinary Arts is dedicated to preparing aspiring professionals in the areas of culinary arts, patisserie and baking, and hospitality and restaurant management.
Disaster Planning and Response Art Rescue is a first responder for the world of art, providing planning, packing, evacuation, conservation, and storage for all your treasured possessions.
Thanks for joining me on Fear No Art. My name is Elysabeth Alfano. Come with me as I go behind the scenes and we get into the hearts and minds and souls of the creative genius. Amanda, thank you for talking with me. Tell me, how long have you been with Cirque du Soleil?
I've been with Cirque du Soleil just over 2 years now.
And I think I read that you saw Cirque as a little girl and decided that's for me.
It is. That's exactly how I got started, actually. I grew up in Orlando, Florida, and my mom took me to see La Nuba, the resident Cirque du Soleil show there. And I fell in love with it. You know, I was one of those audience members just blown away by everything and walked out of there telling her, this is what I'm going to do with my life. And she was encouraging, oh, follow your dreams, but I don't think she really expected me to run away and join the circus. But that's exactly what happened.
Wow, and so what does that mean to run away and join the circus? How many hours a week or a day do you work out and train and practice? And then what's it like living on the road?
Well, anybody you ask is going to be different, as far as training regimen goes. I went to the National Circus School in Montreal, Quebec, and that's where I did 3 years of intensive training to get, the good mainstay before I worked with Cirque du Soleil. But here on Dryland, we're doing 6, 7, 8 shows a week. So that alone is, a pretty good training regimen. But outside of that, people find what works best for them to muscle balance and do other things to, keep you fairly fit as well. I personally swim, I bike, I run, stuff like that to stay in shape.
And what's it like living on the road with how many people are part of Cirque?
With Dryland, we travel with just over 100 people, but that's everybody, our 52 artists and plus all of our supporting team as well. It's amazing. It's a busy lifestyle for sure. We're doing a new city every week, living out of a suitcase, but it's exciting, it's exhilarating, and it's not near as hard as people think. It's really a dream come true to see the world doing something like this with people who are so exciting and motivated.
And is it like a family? And in that I mean that you don't feel that you're alone on the road, and then at the same time you also sort of squabble like a family?
For sure, everybody misses their family of origin, where they're coming from, but this comes in as close of a second as it possibly can. We really do become like a family. We eat together, we train together. It's a very supportive environment, and it has its ups and downs like anything. It all comes back to the supportive, encouraging, motivated environment that we try to put forth on stage as well.
And you work most with silk, right? And you clearly are not afraid of heights, but have you ever had any scares?
The way you go about training is in a very step-by-step manner to ensure the utmost security, because we don't work with wires, we don't work with nets or anything like that. It's a lot about training and a lot about confidence and being able to know in your head that you can make your body do exactly what you want it to do.
You've trained and you're ready and you can sort of have nerves of steel. And so I wonder if when you're doing this and you've gone to 8 cities in a row and you've been doing it sometimes twice a day, do you ever start to daydream, and does your mind wander while you're working and performing?
It's definitely something you have to focus on for sure. There's the expression they say, football is 90% mental. Well, I think that goes for almost any physical way that you're exerting yourself, because there are so many variables as far as the circus apparatus that you're performing with other people on stage, and of course it's always live performance, which will keep you on your toes no matter what. You do have to sustain that mental focus, and if you find yourself distracted or tired or whatnot, then your job is even more important that day to focus. But for me, I find the artistic expression really helps me stay in that as well, because each of us have a character and a role that we're playing or whatnot, so to keep that fresh and to keep your mental energy on what you're portraying to the audience helps you stay in your mind and focused on what you're doing anyway. So
you feel that you stay in character as well as you perform physically. You're playing a character.
For sure. I play Azala, who is the goddess of the air. It's one of the 4 elements that the show is based around. Wind, water, earth, and fire take on human personifications in Dryland, and I represent the air part of that. So that character and that role is definitely something that you can lean heavily upon when you feel tired or down, or even when you feel great, to really use that as your expression, and it really helps you stay focused.
So much of what you do is physical expression that has no words. And yet when you leave this building, the rest of the world basically functions on verbal exchange. And I wonder, do you ever find yourself outside of this building feeling like, I don't really have the words, but I know I could express it?
I find that that's the reason I got into circus as well, is because, there's always writing as a form of communication or verbal speaking as a form of communication, but I find myself most expressive physically. And to me, that's the beauty of circus and the beauty of what Cirque du Soleil and especially Dryland puts on stage. So I feel very lucky to be able to express myself on a daily basis, not only for myself, but for, thousands of people every night. And that's definitely a benefit of being able to perform physically with your body. It really is a human expression, and that really helps us to become the spectacular show that I believe we are.
I'm wondering if you could talk to me about that combination of athletics and beauty.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's extremely important to Cirque du Soleil. That's the whole idea behind what they present. It's to take those traditional circus acts, to take those traditional numbers and make them into like a story, make it more poignant, have something behind that that's artistic. So for example, when athletes come in and they start with Cirque du Soleil, they may not have any artistic background at all. And it's at the studio during a formation that they would have dance classes, acting classes, voice classes, movement classes, this sort of thing, to bring not only their acrobatic performance, but that artistic performance to what they do on stage.
Well, it's wonderful to have you in Chicago. Thank you for speaking with me.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you very much.
There's an artist and a creative spirit around every corner and at Cirque du Soleil. Join me for the next Fear No Art as we get into the unique and fascinating world of the independent artist.